Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. I'm Brother Jacob.
Brother Jeremiah.
And, we back again to do a topic. And I've been doing some thinking recently. So what we're going to do for the next few weeks, unless something catastrophic happens and, we need to hit a topic. Otherwise, we're going to be concentrating on the Apocrypha. So we just ended the Feast of the Dedication, and going forward until we have Purim and Mordecai's Day and that, those feasts, we're going to be dealing with the Apocrypha. So a lot of people keep saying that the Apocrypha is not authoritative and all this other stuff, come with these reasons for you not to even look into it. So we're going to delve into these in the coming weeks. We're going to show you. And all of these books is telling you you have to keep God's commandments. That's the breath of God, his laws. So we're going to be going into that. Today, we're going into the Greeks. And the topic is, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. You might ask yourself, what does that have to do with today? And we're going to show you. So let's open up like we usually do with Ezekiel 3 and 11.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 11. And go, get thee to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them and tell them, thus saith the Lord God.
So make no mistake about it. We are the children of the captivity. We were brought here and made slaves. The natives were taken from here to other places, and they made them slaves. And they were made slaves right here. We are the descendants of those people. We are them of the captivity. Now verse 17.
Verse 17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Mm-hmm. Therefore hear the word of my mouth, and give them warning from me.
Right. We're supposed to give God's warning to you, our people. So let's open up with Genesis 36. You might ask yourself, Genesis 36, what's that got to do with the Grecians? Loving the glory of the Grecians most of all. Yeah, let's find out. Verse 8, Genesis 36 and verse 8.
The book of Genesis, chapter 36 and verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
So the nation of Esau's descendants are called Edom. That's why we call them the Edomites. That's their biblical name. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir.
Right. The father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. So their home place, mountains. One day we're gonna hit that too, so y'all can see their ancient dwelling place. Now verse 12.
Verse 12. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, mm-hmm. and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek.
So, any of you in the know, the people that are calling themselves Jews today, they descend from Amalek. We're going to show you some other people that descend from Amalek. Finish that out.
These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife.
Right. Now verse 16. So you have kings, and then you have princes, which the Arabs, they have princes, and then you have, the white people have dukes.
Right.
Read verse 16.
Verse 16. Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke
Amalek. Duke Amalek. Go ahead.
These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah.
So they descend from Esau. These would be your leaders, the leaders of tribes. So Amalek, Duke Amalek. Now give me Exodus 17. So we pointing out who these people are, who Amalek is. All of this is going to fall together. We're going to try to go through it. We don't want to take too much time on this. We got a lot of scriptures to read, but we're going to show you who these Amalekites are, what they did, why this is all important. Verse 8, Exodus 17 and verse 8.
Book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 8. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel and Rephidim.
So when Israel did what was wrong in the sight of the Lord and he was there, next thing you know, here comes Amalek to fight against us. Now jump down to 10.
All right. Verse 10. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill.
Keep going.
And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed.
So this is a similitude. We keeping the commandments, that so-called law of Moses, we following the Lord, we will prevail. If not, the Edomites going to prevail. And Amalek is the chief among them. Keep going.
Verse 12. But Moses' hand were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon.
Sitting on that rock.
Word.
That rock.
And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
Right. So as a whole, our nation, because there's two olive trees, there's two kingdoms. We both have to work together. That's how we're gonna win. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword.
Put him to death. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
So this is a prophecy, because Amalek is still here. Eventually, he's going to put out the remembrance of them from under heaven. Go ahead.
And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi.
Why? Go ahead.
For he had said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek for generation to generation.
From generation to generation. These people going to be a thorn in our side from generation to generation. Amalek is the chief of the Edomites. Now, Numbers 24 and 20. We went here last week, but we didn't. We went to Numbers 24 and 24. All that's dealing with prophecy. We just want verse 20.
The book of Numbers, chapter 24 and verse 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever.
Right, so Amalek was the first of the Edomites to be king. Of all them dukes, they was the first. They the chief. They chief among the Edomites. Now, chapter 20. So we pointing out, these are people you're going to have war with from generation to generation. The same people that funded your slave trade. They the league devils. Numbers 20 and start at 14. Oh my goodness.
All right. Book of Numbers, chapter 20, verse 14. And Moses sent messengers from Kadesh unto the king of Edom. Thus saith thy brother Israel, thou knowest all the travail that hath befallen us.
So what's going on? We left out of Egypt and we're wandering in the wilderness. So we wanted to pass by or pass through their land. Watch this. So this is why Moses sent messengers. Go ahead.
Verse 15. How our fathers went down into Egypt, and we have dwelt in Egypt a long time. And the Egyptians vexed us and our fathers. And when we cried unto the Lord, he heard our voice, and sent an angel, and hath brought us forth out of Egypt. And behold, we are in Kadesh, a city in the uttermost of thy border.
So they're in the border of Edom. So he's asking for permission to pass by. Go ahead.
Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards, neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand nor to the left until we have passed thy borders.
Right. He said we want to pass through along the king's highway, along this route, and we're not going to we just going to keep straight. We just want to cut through. Go ahead.
And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said...
Hold on. Think about that, y'all. Think about that. So we couldn't pass by unless they was going to come out and fight against us. These are the same people that give you your Christian theology. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And the children of Israel said unto him, We will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without doing anything else, go through on my feet.
Right. Come on.
And he said, Thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him.
Right. So remember this. We wanted to pass through their borders, and they wouldn't allow us. They came out to fight. Now go to Deuteronomy 15. No, Deuteronomy 25. You know, there's a saying, you don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. You, like, the things that these people have done to us, we know 100% that this is so-called white man. That's that hatred that was prophesied in Genesis 27. That he wanted to kill, Esau wanted to kill Jacob. We're showing in their spirit they want to kill us. And they've been doing that. Deuteronomy 25:17.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 17. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way.
Who?
Amalek.
Go ahead.
Did unto thee by the way, when we were come forth out of Egypt.
We just read about this. Go ahead.
How he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee.
So the people that was in the back trailing. Go ahead.
Even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God.
So this is why we say our people have Stockholm Syndrome. These people have been beating the hell out of us, treating us wrong since the beginning, since we became a nation. But you want to follow them. We got Christmas coming up. And they tell you, oh, it's about Jesus. And no, it's not. It's about you worshiping other gods. We are following these same people. They're the ones that give you your current theology and tell you what the Bible means. So, the women and children, anybody that was feeble and falling behind, they were killing them. That's wicked as hell, man. That's wicked. But they're going to tell you how to live. Keep going. Read verse 19.
Verse 19.
Yeah.
Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God have given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, for an inheritance to possess it.
So when you get into the land and you establish yourself, what's the Lord going to do? Go ahead.
That thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it.
That's a commandment right there. Israel's supposed to blot out Amalek. All right, so that's going to take us to Samuel now. 1 Samuel. Man, it is imperative that you follow the instructions of the Lord. Fight against them from generation to generation. 1 Samuel 15. Start at... You can start at 1.
All right.
Man, y'all pay attention. I might put a still shot or something. When you in the movie Birth of a Nation, and Nat Turner finally decided he was going to go and kill them Edomites. They show this, he's looking in the Bible, and they show this passage right here. Read.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be a king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
Hold on. The Lord remember that? I thought we supposed to forget about everything that was in the past. Right? Oh, that was so long ago. The Lord said, I remember. Go ahead.
How he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt.
So remember the Lord said, when you get settled, you got to go and kill them off the face of the earth. He ain't forgetting nothing. This is generations later. Generations later. Hundreds of years later. Go ahead.
Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all.
No, the Lord didn't say that. No way the Lord said that. Go ahead.
And utterly destroy all that they have. And spare them not, but slay both man and woman.
Man and woman. Go ahead.
Infant and suckling.
Well, the babies too?
The babies too.
Go ahead.
Ox and sheep. Camel and ass.
Every damn thing. Everything. Y'all don't really know the Lord. When the Baal disrespected David, David said he was going to go and kill anything that pisseth on the wall. That means anything that had a penis, it was dying. You can't create without men. The Lord ain't no joke. Now, go to verse 5.
Verse 5. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt.
See, remember the promise to Abraham, I will bless them that bless thee,
right.
And curse them that curse thee. Go ahead.
So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites.
Go ahead.
And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is, over against Egypt.
Right. Go ahead.
And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive.
Agag. He took Agag. This is very important. This is one of the ways we identify who these Edomites are today. Agag. Go ahead.
And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword.
Now, he wasn't supposed to do that. He was supposed to kill every daggone thing. Watch what happened, though. Keep going.
But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and they would not utterly destroy them. But everything that was vile and refused, they destroyed utterly.
Right. That wasn't the instructions that the Lord gave. You got to do what he said do. Now give me verse 20.
And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed all the Amalekites.
So he brought Agag alive, the king of Amalek. Agag. Now verse 32.
Verse 32. Then said Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately. And Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past.
So he was not supposed to keep Agag alive. He was supposed to be put to death. So the priest Samuel, he's going to put him to death. Verse 33.
Verse 33. And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal.
Right. All praises to the Most High. But his seed still live on. See, people think because he smote them from Havilah to Gilgal, that means he killed all of them. No. Agag, the seed of Agag, ain't going nowhere. Now, 1 Samuel 30. So, people try to say, okay, Agag, he got killed. All of them got killed, so they don't exist no more. No, that's not true. 1 Samuel 30, give me verse 1.
All right. Book of 1 Samuel, chapter 30 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when David and his men came to Ziklag on the third day, that the Amalekites...
Who?
The Amalekites.
The Amalekites. The Amalekites. The descendants of Amalek. They still around. Go ahead.
Had invaded the south, and Ziklag had smitten... and Ziklag, and smitten Ziklag, and burned it with fire.
Now, those of you that something might jump out to you right here. Give me verse 5.
Verse 5. And David's 2 wives were taken captives, Ahinoam and
Abigail.
Okay. Jezreelitess.
Yeah.
And thank you. And Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite.
Yeah, everybody know the story about Abigail and Nabal. That's what I was just referring to, because Abigail was married to Nabal. Nabal was the one that disrespected David. And David said he was going to go kill anything that pissed off on the wall. And he didn't, because of Abigail's works, her actions. She was a righteous, wise sister. Matter of fact, after the Lord made Nabal have a heart attack, and then David took her to wife. And she got taken. But anyway, y'all can read that, what happens later, on your own. So now, let's go to Esther chapter 3. Somewhere around Ezra and Nehemiah. Is it after? Yeah, Esther's after. Esther 3 and 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King
Ahasuerus.
Thank you. Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of
Hamadatha.
Hamadatha.
So he promoted Haman, the son of Hamadatha.
The Agagite.
The Agagite. So he's a descendant of Agag. He's Amalek.
And advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
All right, now, verse 10. So this is, we got, when Mordecai's day comes up, we're going to go over this stuff in more detail, explain what's going on. But right now, we're just concentrating on this devil Haman. Give me verse 6.
6. Verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
Right. So Haman wanted to destroy the Jews. I wonder why. Because he's Amalek. The devil is working through him. There's a bigger picture going on right here, too. We're going to mention it. But now jump down to 10.
Verse 10. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy.
The Jews' enemy. The Jews' enemy. Remember? The Lord we were going to be at war with them from generation to generation. This stuff might slip our minds, but the people writing the scriptures, they got the spirit on them, it ain't slipping their mind. They know these are our enemies. Now, hold on. Let me see here. And 10. So, there's something in particular about Haman, but it's not right here, though. We're going into it. Go to the Apocrypha. Esther in the Apocrypha. The rest of Esther. That's not in my Bible. I wonder why. You can't never put stuff together dealing with Satan. Esther 16. Give me verse 10.
Book of Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 16, and verse 10.
Pay attention. Go ahead.
For Ammon, the Macedonian.
A who?
Macedonian.
A Macedonian. So Macedonia don't pop up magically in the New Testament. So the Edomites had taken over Macedonia. Matter of fact, the Edomites had took over Rome, Greece, Macedonia, all that territory when they fled from David. Hold on. Let me sidebar real quick. Hold that. Let's go to 1 Kings 11. Give me verse... Give me verse, give me verse, give me verse 14. Start at 14.
Book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, verse 14. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad, the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom.
Go ahead.
For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to bury the slain.
Go ahead.
After he had smitten every male in Edom.
So the Lord repeatedly, he's sending out his warriors to go and kill Esau. I wonder why. So they were killing Edomites at this time, and Hadad fled. Keep going.
Verse 16. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom.
Anything that pisses on the wall, putting it to death. That's how you destroy a nation. That's called genocide. And it's coming from the Lord. It's the Lord's commandment. Go ahead.
That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him.
Where they fled to?
To go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child.
So as you read on, over time, David and Joab die. And then the Edomites had great favor amongst Pharaoh and in Egypt. But when upon the death of David and Joab, they leave and go into Syria. They told them they was going to go back to their homeland. No, they went to Syria and worked their way into what's known today as Europe and took over. So that's when that started, after David died, after David and Joab died. There's even, in one of my books, Benjamin of $2 right here, tell you that they made, that the descendants of the Edomites had settled in Greece, and there was some trail that they made because they was hiding from Israel, from King David, because he was trying to kill all the daggone Edomites. Yeah, and he had a grandson or great grandson named Zer. Hadad did. Edomites. They Edomites. Now let's go back. That's the 16. The rest of Esther, chapter 16. All right. And verse 10.
Book of Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 16, verse 10. For Ammon, the Macedonian, the son of Ammedatha, thank you, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood.
Yeah, he was not a Persian, he was an Edomite. Go ahead.
And far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us.
All right, now jump down to, pick up at 13.
Verse 13.
Oh. Yeah, 13.
Verse 13. Having by manifold and cunning deceits sought of us the destruction.
That's him. That's them. That's them. Cunning deceits. The serpent in the garden. Crafty. Go ahead.
As well of Marduchias.
That's Mordecai. Yeah, it's translated from Greek, so it's kind of funny. It's a little different.
Okay, excuse me. As well of Mordecai, who saved our life and continually procured our good, as also of blameless Esther, partaker of our kingdom with their whole nation.
All right, we're going to go more into detail on that when we do Mordecai's Day. Go ahead.
Verse 14, for by these means he thought, finding us destitute of friends, to have translated the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians.
To the Macedonians, who you call the Greeks. He was trying to take over their kingdom and translate it to the Edomites, the Macedonians. Read next verse.
Verse 15, but we find that the Jews, whom this wicked wretch have delivered to utter destruction, are no evildoers, but live by the most just laws.
But live by the most just laws. But we'll go more into detail on this story. They hate the commandments. They hate God's commandments. The Edomites hate God's commandments. Now, so this is Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Ammedatha, the Agagite.
Right.
Macedonia. He's a Macedonian. Okay. First Maccabees 1:1. So they was trying to translate the kingdom. Take the kingdom of the Persians and the Medes. First Maccabees 1:1.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian.
The Macedonian. Edomites. The Macedonians, the Greeks, the Romans, they're Edomites. With Amalek being the chief of them. Go ahead.
Who came out of the land of Kittim and had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes.
Right. He's smitten Darius. So they was going to take and translate that kingdom irregardless. It was the will of the Lord for them to do that. But not at that time. They weren't going to kill Mordecai and the Jews.
Right.
You finish that out?
That he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
It's going pretty good. I thought it was going to be... Might take some time, but so let's go. So the Macedonians, I think I'm going to come back to that right there. Let's go to 2 Maccabees. So these Macedonians, a.k.a. Greeks, these are Edomites. We can trace them using the Apocrypha. These are Edomites, Greeks, Macedonians, Romans, whatever, because they every daggone way are taking over everything by the sword. So, 2 Maccabees 4 and 7.
Book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 7. But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes, took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest.
Right. So after Alexander died, his kingdom was split among 4 generals, and then over years and years, they had descendants. So we did a class on 2 Maccabees 3, or was it 1 Maccabees 3? But it's the same dude. Yeah, it was 2 Maccabees 3, about the horse and the rider, and how Onias was the high priest at the time, and he hated wickedness. He loved God's laws. But his brother, the complete opposite. So his brother labored to be high priest. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and of another revenue 80 talents.
Right, so he's paying off the king because he wants something. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise.
A place for exercise. Go ahead.
And for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen.
Mm-hmm.
And to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians.
So let's stop right here. So you see this today. This is going into a lot of different things. So, like the Olympics, which started with the Greeks, Greco-Roman wrestling butt naked, and your football, basketball, baseball franchises. Yeah. So it says, for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of the Antiochians. So like today you have, well, now you got the Washington football team, but it used to be the Washington Redskins, the Baltimore Colts. Oh, it all started here. And all our people, they be all caught up in it, into these Greek fashions. That's what it is. You got to, like, the Lord has to open up your spirit for you to see this stuff. Ain't nothing changed. But somehow our people think, oh, you got to, that don't apply to the day. You's a damn lie. It does apply to the day. 100%. You're doing the same exact thing that they did back then. So, to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. Go ahead. That's one of my closest buddies. He likes the Oakland Raiders. I like the Dallas Cowboys, which I don't really follow them no more. But that's who I grew up liking. You know, if I watch a team play today, it would be them. But I'm not investing myself in that. I don't do that no more. It's a distraction. Go ahead, verse 10.
Verse 10. Which when the king had granted, and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion.
So he pushed the Greekish fashions on us. He liked that crap. So he's gonna push it on the whole, in Israel. The same thing today. Guess what you're doing, Pastor? You're doing this very thing. You're doing this very thing. Because I got pastors, it's my buddies on Facebook, and it'll be a heated basketball game or football game, and I'll just be chilling. I don't even know nothing about it. I'll look at Facebook, it'll be like posted 2 minutes ago. LeBron needs some help. Man, hey, that stuff is cool just to watch, but don't invest yourself in it. Don't let it distract you. I mean, goodness. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law.
See, new customs. They want to follow the manners of the Greeks and the Romans and not what God has given us. This separates us from everybody else. These are the very people that have been doing you wrong, doing you dirty from the beginning. When we left Egypt, they had us. Go ahead.
Verse 12. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Hold on. So he making his little sports franchise. You got to see this stuff spiritually. Let's hold it right there. So give me First Maccabees 1. Give me start at 13.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Mm-hmm. So we're reading a more detailed account in Second Maccabees. Go ahead.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise.
Mm-hmm. Gymnasium. Hold on, because I remember when I was in school, when you had gym class, and then you go and work out or whatever, and then afterwards you had to take a shower, where everybody butt behind naked in front of each other. That's what these people did. Wrestling naked. What's that movie with Leon, the Ladies Man, and Lance, and him and his buddies in their Roman Greco wrestling, and Lance had the oil, and they always put oil all over each other and would wrestle all the time. And the wife told Leon, she said, "Use the oil, Leon," because his wife her husband wanted to wrestle him. Crazy. Like, it was like, "Lance, clearly you're gay." Greco-Roman wrestling in the nude. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, excuse me. Verse 15.
You good?
And he made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook.
Hold on. You can't put the flesh back on your member. So that has a total different meaning.
Right.
It's going to explain it. Go ahead.
And forsook the holy covenant.
That's how you make yourself uncircumcised. There's neither circumcision nor uncircumcision, but the keeping of the commandments. Understand that. Go ahead.
And joined themselves to the heathen,
mm-hmm.
and were sold to do mischief.
Right. And just like today. Brother came on my post about Christmas. I didn't say nothing about Jeremiah 10 myself. But he mentioned Jeremiah 10. Well, you got to read the whole chapter. Yeah, we were going to be carried away into Babylon, just like today, and was going to follow after their customs. Setting up a Christmas tree, or setting up a tree, and putting silver and gold on it and standing it up. Same thing. You read it in context. Can't trick us with that. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus.
Oh, no, you good. You good. Now back to 2 Maccabees 4 and verse 13. So he brought the chief young men under his subjection and made them wear a hat. Same. So like you see this now, it might go over your head, but the young men, they do good in high school. I'm a 5-star recruit. I'm a 4-star recruit. And they recruit you in, give you a free ride, and just put you right in their system, and they use you. They take the chief among our people, just like those that are smart, they take them and put them in special schools. They take the best of our people and put them with themselves. We're going to hit that in Daniel one day. I know I went over that with y'all, but it's the same thing they did in Daniel. Well, go ahead.
Verse 13. Now such was the height of Greek fashions, an increase of heathenish manners, through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest.
That ungodly wretch and no high priest. Because he was leading the sheep to the slaughter. Just like our pastors do today. I don't even know if they truly understand what they're doing. I mean, they can't. You can't truly understand what you're doing. If you willfully doing that, woe be to you. I hope not. I hope y'all not doing it willfully. Now, so he's leading our people to go against the Lord. He's called the ungodly wretch. Go ahead, verse 14.
Verse 14, that the priests had no courage to serve any more at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise, after the game of discus called them forth.
Right, hold on. So the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar. I mean, you can bring all of this up to the day. They're not going to stand at the pulpit and give you truth. They don't have the courage to do that. But despising the temple. When you're not doing what the Lord says to do, you're despising him. You the temple. You despising the Lord. Then, and neglecting the sacrifices, hasten to the partakers of unlawful allowance in the place of exercise. Your gymnasiums, where all kinds of stuff go on. After the game of discus called them forth, they still do that in the Olympics. So it should register in your mind. These Greekish fashions, it's the same thing. They're the same people as the Romans. And they just put all this stuff together. And then what they did, they pulled us in with them, took our Bible, took them customs, and added it to it, and gave you Christianity. Verse 15.
Verse 15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
That's what they do. Liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. I almost forgot, man. We got this book sitting here. No, we're good. I'll put it up. So this book is called Caesar and Christ by Will Durant. And we're going to page 532. You're going to read this whole bottom paragraph. And this is talking about Herod the Great. So not only, they're all the same people. The Herods, they're Idumeans, just like the Greeks and the Romans. They all do the same thing, and they all like the same things. So read that paragraph.
Right here, ruling many cities.
Yeah.
All right. Destroy.
Yeah.
All right. Ruling many cities that were more Greek than Jewish in population and culture.
See? So hold on. So during the time of Christ, see, people don't understand. Like, you can read, you're reading in the book of Acts, you see, like, wait a minute. He said that when he spoke in Hebrew, everybody listened. That show you that they were speaking Greek. The Greeks Hellenized everybody. You had to learn Greek. Just like everybody learns English today. Same daggone people. With Amalek being the chief among them. That's how when you look at all the owners and CEOs of these great big corporations, Jewish family.
Right.
Come from a Jewish family. That's Amalek. Go ahead, bro.
And impressed with the refinement and variety of Hellenic civilization.
So Hellenics is what they call the Greek culture. Go ahead.
Herod, himself not by origin or conviction a Jew.
No, because he was an Idumean. An Edomite. Go ahead.
naturally sought a cultural unity for his realm and an imposing facade for his rule by encouraging Greek ways, dress, ideas, literature, and art.
Hold on. Dress, literature, art, ideas. So you have, man, hold on. I'm going to pull this scripture real quick. And people I don't think y'all really understand how deep the Bible is. You just got to do some digging. Let me see.
Art be like nude babies and stuff.
Yeah, all of their art. You're gonna find some naked babies. They even have naked babies with God, with white God. Let's see, we're gonna go there. Okay. Damn, we're gonna come right back to this chapter in a few minutes. So, this is Acts chapter 17 and verse 18. Watch this, y'all. So one of the things that the Greeks pushed was Greek philosophy. Even our brother Maimonides in the 13th or 14th century, something like that, he followed Aristotle, which his teachers come from that time. This stuff is crazy. Our people following those Greek manners. So this is Acts chapter 17 and verse 18. Says, then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and the Stoics encountered him, and some said, what will this babbler say? Some, he seemed to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preacheth unto them Jesus and the resurrection. Verse 19, and they took him and brought him to Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is. Verse 20, for thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know therefore what these things mean. Verse 21, for all the Athenians and strangers which were there present spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or hear some new thing. So they was into Greek philosophy. Paul is going in on them in this chapter. Our people following these same manners. Go ahead. Keep reading.
All right. He surrounded himself with Greek scholars, entrusted to them high affairs of state, and made Nicholas of Damascus, a Greek, his official counselor and historian. He raised at great expense a theater and an amphitheater in Jerusalem, adorned them with monuments to Augustus and other pagans.
This is in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And introduced Greek athletic and musical contests and Roman gladiatorial combats. He beautified.
Back up. Athletic and musical contests. Go ahead.
He beautified Jerusalem with other buildings in what seemed to the people a foreign architectural style.
That same style you see in Mount Sierra, that you see in New York today. That same when you see it in Greece. That same style. Go ahead.
Excuse me. And set up in public places Greek statuary whose nudity startled the Jews.
Right, because you ain't supposed to see nobody's nakedness. These people are the complete opposite of what we supposed to be. I mean, if being contrary had a face, it would be them. Go ahead.
Startled the Jews as much as the nakedness of the wrestlers in the games.
The gay Greco-Roman wrestling. They did not, look, these people, I think they just used women just to bring forth children. Because they were lovers of themselves.
Fellas, it's weird, man.
Yeah. Matter of fact, well, keep going. I'm going to mention it in a minute.
He built himself a palace, doubtless on Greek models, filled it with gold and marble and costly furniture.
See, another person like this was Nero. And they used to call Nero feminine because he liked the Greek ways. Go ahead.
And surrounded it with extensive gardens, after the manner of his Roman friends.
Mm-hmm.
He shocked the people by telling them that the temple which Zerubbabel had set up 5 centuries before was too small, and proposing to tear it down and erect a larger one on its site.
So Zerubbabel, that was Zerubbabel, Ezra, and Nehemiah that was there. And when you read in Nehemiah, they found the dimensions of the temple. So it was supposed to be built that way.
Right.
But no, Esau wanted to change every damn thing. Go ahead.
Despite their protests and their fears, he realized his plan and reared the lordly temple that Titus would destroy.
Yeah, that was Herod's. Mm-hmm. That was Herod's temple. Jump down to that paragraph right there. Some of them show some. There's a lot of history recorded that we're not even aware of. But watch what these. So the eagle is the symbol of these people. It's always been the symbol. We read in Obadiah that they exalt themselves as the eagle. Read that, man.
The people were proud of the great shrine, which was ranked among the marvels of the Augustan world. For its splendor, they almost forgave the Corinthian columns of the porticos.
Yeah, portico.
And the golden eagle.
Huh? The what?
The golden eagle.
Uh-huh.
That defying the Jewish prohibition of graven images, symbolized at the very entrance to the temple.
Of the what?
Of the temple.
So they put a golden eagle in front of the temple. These devils. They've been, so like the Lord said, we're going to be at war with them from generation to generation. Y'all better realize that. These are those very people. Go ahead.
The power of Judea's enemy and master Rome.
Enemy and master Rome. The Idumeans, Romans, Greeks, whatever. They're Edomites, Macedonians. They go by many names. You can drop that. Man, they continually doing stuff against us. Continually. So now, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna put up some pictures. So what you have, I'm gonna go to it. Okay, so I mentioned the sports teams, but now where does LGBTQ come from? So guess whose fashions were LGBTQ? So I'm gonna pull up Sappho's.
Gucci.
Sappho's. Sappho was an archaic Greek poet from Erosos or Mytilene on the island of Lesbos. So your term lesbo comes from these Greek women that loved Greek women. Sappho is known for her lyric poetry written to be sung while accompanied by music. In ancient times, Sappho was widely regarded as the greatest lyric poet and was given the name of 10th Muse. Anyway, she wrote about her love for other women. So it ain't no mistake when you read in Romans 1 how the men left the natural use of the woman and were lusting after themselves, and even the women did the same thing. Guess who it comes from? The Edomites. I know they weren't the first. They couldn't be the first because you had Sodom and Gomorrah. But all that stuff comes right back through them. Remember her name, Sappho. She's like the most famous original lesbian. And then, let me pull this up. Pederasty. Pederasty in ancient Greece was a socially acknowledged romantic relationship between an older male and a younger male. So, this Jason, who labored to be high priest, he became high priest and he pushed this on our people, pushed them Greek ways. It's complete madness. These are these Greek manners. All of this is an abomination. It's like everything that the Lord tells us in our law not to do, they do it and then they say do it. And then our people help push that thing. It's just unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. Okay. So then also you have, let's go to 2 Maccabees 4 and 20. Hold on. Start 19.
All right. Book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 19. This ungracious Jason.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We didn't finish where we were before. So
Pick up at 16.
Yeah, pick up at 16.
Okay. Book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 16. By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers.
Go Go ahead.
whose custom they followed so earnestly,
So their customs, just like today, following their customs. Come on.
and unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
Our people desire to be like them in all things, even to the day. I remember O did a little clip where he said, he said some of y'all want to be just like the so-called white man, all the way down to the penny loafers on his feet. Come out of that madness. It's the same thing. Come on.
Can't envy or oppress them.
Right. They envy the oppressor and follow his ways. When the Lord said, don't do it.
Verse 17. For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of
You
God.
hear that? It's not a light thing. It's a very serious thing to do wickedly against our Lord. Come on.
But the time following shall declare these things.
And you're going to get punished for it. Go ahead.
Verse 18. Now when the game that was used every 5th year.
Hold on. What do they do now every 4 years? Olympics. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Was kept at Tyrus, the king being present.
Mm-hmm.
This ungracious Jason sent special messengers from Jerusalem, who were Antiochians, to carry 300 drachms of silver to the sacrifice of Hercules.
Of who?
Hercules.
Your Greek gods. Today that would be Caesar Borgia. Go pay your tithes in the church, honey. Ain't nothing changed. Because little do people know. Hercules, it's Zeus. Zeus. They keep talking about this picture in the catacombs is of Christ. That ain't Christ, that's Zeus. Christ's a black man. There's plenty of black images of Christ in the catacombs. They take this one and try to say that that's Christ. No, that's Zeus, sir. That's Zeus. Y'all put him in the place of Christ. Go ahead.
Which even the bearers thereof thought fit not to bestow upon the sacrifice, because it was not convenient, but to be reserved for other charges.
Go ahead.
This money then, in regard to the sender, was appointed to Hercules' sacrifice.
Damn.
But because of the bearers thereof, it was employed to the making of galleys. Okay,
so we're still gonna deal with the book of Maccabees, but not 2nd Maccabees 4. Let's go to, because we're talking about the Greek gods. So yeah, Zeus. They make a sacrifice to Zeus. They putting up idols to gods in Jerusalem. Now let's go to Acts. Back to Acts. Well, no, Acts 19 first. Then we're gonna go to Acts 17. Christianity has caused a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion. This is painfully obvious. The Lord said you're going to go into captivity and you're going to be among other nations and you're going to serve their gods. So, what's it, Acts 15?
19.
Oh, 19. Then we're going to hit 17 in a minute. Acts 19. Oh, my goodness. I got the picture ready, too. Give me verse... Give me verse 17 first.
All right. Book of Acts, chapter 19, verse 17. And this was known to all the Jews and Greeks, also dwelling at Ephesus.
And so you got your Hebrew and Greek speaking Israelites at Ephesus. Go ahead.
And fear fell on them all. And the name of the Lord Jesus was magnified.
Right, now jump down to verse 24.
Verse 24. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana.
A goddess, a Greek goddess, which ain't nothing new. She's also a Zidonian goddess. This is Ashtoreth. Many different names. The god of fertility. Give me verse... Jump down to 34.
Verse 34. But when they knew that he was a Jew, all with one voice, about the space of 2 hours, cried out, "Great is Diana of the Ephesians."
So it went down. There was a great big argument because Paul was saying don't worship idols, but you had Israelites that made idols for a living. So there was a big argument. Go ahead.
Verse 35. And when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, "Ye men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how that the city of the Ephesians is a worshiper of the great goddess Diana?"
As we're dispersed throughout all the nations serving their daggone gods. Israel is. Go ahead.
"And of the image which fell down from Jupiter."
See, which fell down from Jupiter. It's all Greek madness. Greek madness. And who are these people? These are daggone Macedonians, the descendants of Amalek and Esau, our enemy. And we follow them wholeheartedly. This is why they don't want you to read the Apocrypha. So you can put all this together and go, damn, I see it clearly. I don't see this partially, I see it clearly. What is saying, Mark? When the Lord spit on his eyes, he saw every man clearly. So this is all Greek mythology and their gods right here. Now, so that was Diana. Now, oh man. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 8 and 18. Give me 15 first. So they both did the same thing. So you got the Romans are Edomites too. Yeah, start at 15. We should showing you these are the same people doing the same thing. You even read about them in the book of Revelation. They are that fourth beast. Well, that's a little deeper. But yeah, read this first. Same people doing the same thing.
Book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 15. "Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people."
Democracy. So-called democracy. Go ahead.
"To the end they might be well ordered.
Mm-hmm.
And that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country.
Mm-hmm.
And that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them."
So you look at this stuff, they were doing things, so this was a year at that time. Then they had the Olympics every 5 years, now it's every 4 years. You get president every 4 years. But it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing and the same people. Keep going.
Verse 17. "In consideration of these things, Judas chose Eupolemus, thank you, the son of John, the son of Achas, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them."
So that goes into something else right there. I just picked up on that a couple of days ago. Yeah. This is the beginning of the Pharisees. You have political sects being drawn up. Looks like it started here. You have those that follow the Greeks, the Sadducees, those that follow the Romans that made amity or agreement with the Romans, end up being the Pharisees, which they come out of the Maccabees. Those brothers, because they were in charge. It went through John Hyrcanus. But go ahead.
"And to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them, for they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude."
So the Greeks made us slaves, just like today. These same white people, these Edomites, made us slaves. And they sold us as slaves. Yeah. So they made us slaves, right? 3 and 48. No, 3 and 41. Yeah.
All right. Book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 41.
Mm-hmm.
And the merchants of the country, hearing the fame of them, took silver and gold very much,
That they were selling us. Mm-hmm.
with servants, and came into the camp to buy the children of Israel for slaves.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
A power also of Syria and of the land of the Philistines joined themselves unto them.
Right. So they made us slaves for them, and they sold us. Same people doing the same daggone thing throughout history. Spirits ain't gonna change. All right. Now, Acts 17. Right back where we were. Give me verse 15.
Book of Acts, chapter 17, and verse 15. And they that conducted Paul brought him unto Athens,
Athens, Greece, the capital city of the Grecians. Go ahead.
and receiving a commandment unto Silas and Timotheus, for to come to him with all speed, they departed.
Mm-hmm.
Now while Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw the city wholly given to idolatry.
When he saw the city wholly given to idolatry. Why? Because they had Zeus and Hercules and all these, Diana, all these gods. And our people up there with them worshiping that stuff. 100%, man. So now when Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred in him when he saw that the city wholly given to idolatry. He ain't talking about Esau. The Lord gave them those things. He allowed them to worship them things. Knock yourself out. But Israel, you ain't supposed to partake in that. You Jews, you ain't supposed to partake in that. Deuteronomy 28:64 real quick. Everything is according to prophecy, as it is written. Don't say, you got to put that in context. Let's see, we're going to read Deuteronomy 28:64 without context to see if we can understand it. Go ahead.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Among all people, including the Greeks, the Romans, the Macedonians, whatever you want to call them. Go ahead.
From the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
America, South America, Central America, the East, India, Japan, the Solomon Islands, everywhere. Go ahead.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
You shall serve other gods.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. Even wood and stone.
So whether they made of wood or whether they made of stone, our people going to serve them. Now back, Acts 17. And now verse 17. So Paul see this. He see all the idolatry and how people partaking in it. In these Greek fashions. Loving the Greek fashions most of all. Go ahead.
Book of Acts chapter 17, verse 17. Therefore disputed he in the synagogue with the Jews.
So he was in the synagogue. It ain't like he on the street talking to Edomites. He's among his people. He disputed with the Jews in the synagogue. He's not going to other nations. He's going in those other lands among other nations, but he ain't dealing with the people of the other nations. He's dealing with his fellow Israelites. Go ahead.
And with the devout persons, and in the market daily with them that met with him.
Now why I say in the market daily? You can drop that because we're not going to come back here. But it said, and in the market daily with them that met with him. I don't know whether to go to Isaiah 13 or I like Proverbs better. Matter of fact, we'll hit both of them. We're about to end it anyway. Proverbs chapter 1. And give me verse 20. We read this all the time when we go on and teach on the street. All the time.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets.
She uttereth her voice in the streets. That's why he's meeting with them that would meet with him in the marketplaces, in other places. They know the commandments. Go ahead. Read next verse.
Verse 21. She crieth in the chief place of concourse.
Uh-huh.
In the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?
Why you keep worshiping these other gods? Therefore, I'm going to dispute with you. Go ahead.
And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
Like the scorners, those Epicureans and Stoics that's in the Greek philosophy that ask, what is this new thing he talking about, some gods? Same, it's our people, man. 100%. You can drop this and give me Isaiah 13. You gotta read it in context, brother. Give me verse 2.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 2.
Now give me one first.
Verse 1.
So we're in modern day Babylon. We're in Babylon the Great.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand. That they may go into the gates of the nobles.
So go out on the street where your people at, like we always start with Ezekiel 3 and 11. Get to thee to them of the captivity. What you think they doing, man? What do you think Paul and all them are doing? They got different commissions to go to these different places and tell our people to repent, come out of these Greek fashions, these Roman fashions, whoever these other gods are. Come out from among that crap. Separate yourselves from that. Let me see. Might be one more before we close out. Yeah, I don't use this much. Isaiah 58 and 1.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions.
Show my people their transgressions. Go ahead.
And the house of Jacob their sins.
Right. They're not going to people of other nations. He's going to the house of Jacob that's scattered among the nations. That's keeping these Greek fashions and liking the glory of these Grecians. Same people as the Romans. Same as your modern day Germans, your Englishmen, your Spaniard, your Portuguese, whatever you want to call them. Same people. We know who you are through the Spirit. So, don't like the Greek fashions most of all. Return to your God and keep his commandments. The book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 29.
The book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey God rather than men.
Right, we ought to obey God rather than man. Don't worship these other gods like Zeus, a.k.a. Caesar Borgia, a.k.a. white man Jesus. Come out of that madness. Y'all, people don't think that the Bible is relevant. Like they've taken the Apocrypha out. They've taken out important pieces to help you understand. Come out of that. Return to your power. The Father, that's power. He is power. He is our power. Heck, since I said that, 2nd Ezra 16 real quick. It's only a couple of scriptures where it say, Power. There's one in the New Testament. You shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power. The Father, he is power. 16 and start at 24. So anybody that think you can get to the kingdom and be in the midst of sin. You know my heart. Go ahead.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
There shall be no man left.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. 15.
15, all right.
This is a prophecy of the destruction. How he going to bring the destruction? Watch what he said.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 24. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith the Lord.
Damn, saith the Lord. Go ahead.
I will not spare them.
Mm-hmm.
Go your way, ye children.
Children of Israel.
From the power.
From the power. Go away from the power. Go ahead.
Defile not my sanctuary.
Defile not my sanctuary. So the Father is the power. All right, so that's been our time. I'm Brother Jacob Ben Israel.
Brother Jeremiah.
And with that, y'all, we say shalom.